Good morning, mindful mathematicians. Today we are going to be reviewing adding and subtracting mixed numbers. All right. Before we get started, I want us just to get our minds moving with multiplication. So I want you to pause the video, and on a sheet of paper, I want you to write the answer. Don't solve it on the paper. In your head, solve 20 times 48. Pause the video and write down your answer and your strategy of how you came up with your answer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's what we're doing today. Our I can statement is, I can add and subtract fractions and mixed numbers with unlike denominators. I can solve word problems involving addition and subtraction of fractions, including cases of unlike denominators. So last week when we were in school, we used rectangular models to add and subtract unlike denominators. Today, we are going to continue to use rectangular models with fractions. However, today we will use mixed numbers. And remember, a mixed number is a whole number with a fraction. So let's consider this situation. Mary spent an hour and a half doing her homework on Monday and an hour and one and 1/4 of an hour doing her homework on Tuesday. How long did she spend working on her homework in all? So I can tell that they're asking us to add the 2 days that Mary did homework, and because they want to know how much time is she spending on her homework. First, I made the models to show 1.5 hours that she spent doing her homework on Monday, and then I made a model for 1 1/4 of hours that she spent on her homework on Tuesday. Here's my 1 1/2 plus 1 1/4. And notice when I did the models, just a refresher, your first number, you can do the lines going down or across, but choose which way and make sure you represent them the same for your whole and your fraction. Same thing over here. Make sure the lines are going the same way and you represent your whole and your fraction. Okay. Since Mary was reading in hours on both days, I need to combine the two models. I want both models to be divided into the same number of pieces, so there will be a like denominator, which means I need to partition or to break into part the 1.5 into fourths, the denominator of the other fraction. So the denominator of this fraction I want to create over here. And then over in the 1 1/4, I want to create this same partition or dividing. So I'm going to divide it the same way. So now I have the same number of for the denominator for both numbers. Okay? And because I have that, now I can easily add. So when I combine the halves and fourths, I see that the wholes are now partitioned into eighths. Now I'm ready to add. I'm going to add my whole numbers together. So 1 plus 1 equals 2. And then I will add my fractions together. 4/8 plus 2/8 equals 6/8. So I'm going to add the 2 plus the 6/8. So Mary spent a total of 2 6/8 hours working on her homework. Now let's try one together. Jaden spent 1 2/5 hours doing his homework on Monday. He spent 1.5 hours doing his homework on Tuesday. How many hours did Jaden spend working on his homework on Monday and Tuesday? Please pause the video to set up your models. Okay. So, if you created your models, you should have started out with 1 2/5 and then plus 1.5. And then when you created the partitions so that they would be the same, you would have 1 4/10 and 1 5/10. When you put them together, you would have, when you add them, you will then have 1 2/10, 1 9/10, sorry. Okay, boys and girls, today you will continue practicing adding and subtracting mixed numbers and fractions with unlike denominators using rectangular models. Please click on the math link in order that you will be able to practice with adding and subtracting fractions and mixed numbers using area model.